everybody. I'm Raymond Dahlman, president of DSA Financial Group, and welcome back. This is the weekly wrap-up. Going to cover what's gone on this week in the world of finance and the economy. So let's take a few minutes and first let's start with the cold weather that's coming across the nation. So I know a lot of y'all are bundled up. Most of my clients are down in the south, mostly Texas. But yeah, it's pretty cold up here in Colorado. Right now it is a balmy 13 degrees. And let's see what we got on the forecast. Tomorrow we got a high of 20 and a low of -3. And Sunday, Valentine's Day, a high of 4 and a low of -10. So, but on the bright side, my birthday's Monday. And the high will be up to 28. Woo! So anyways, you didn't tune in to see what the weather is here in Perry Park, Colorado. So let's see what's going on in the world right now. Let's click over here to CNN. Let's see. They are lots of Trump. It appears that Trump's team is resting in their case. Has anyone out there been watching the Salem woke trials? I personally have not. I could care less. He's not the president anymore, and frankly, if you want to impeach him, there's a lot better reasons other than what happened January 6th. So, you know, if you want to arrest him for being a war criminal for his actions and what's been going on in Yemen the last few years, perfectly happy with it. So, most people know I'm a libertarian, and any infringement on liberties I get pretty disgusted by. So, anyways, let's see. In the news, it's just Trump. Trump. Oh, and then there's Cuomo over here. He appears to be in a little bit of trouble from evidently the death statistics for the nursing homes. So, well, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot other than politics on the front page of CNN. So let's flip over to some economic news. Right now, looks like U.S. consumer sentiments have continued to fall. Let's click on that and see what that chart looks like. Let's see. We're down under 80. You know, just a year ago we were up near 100. I think, you know, just looking at this chart, consumer sentiment had been as high as it had been in, well, almost 10 years. Let's take a look at a 25-year chart. You know, the last time it had been any higher than 100 was back at the end of the 90s. So I don't put a whole lot into sentiments. It's really just the feeling of the country right now. You know, with impeachments and the social unrest that we have, you know, the left hates the right hates the left. Libertarians, we hate everybody. So, you know, anyways, let's click back and see if there was anything else of interest. Wall Street highs. There was a pause in the rally. Yeah, it does appear like the markets are slowing down a bit. So, and a little bit of appreciation in the dollar, which anyone who's listened to me bitch and moan about what's been going on with the Fed the last few years, you know, a little bit of appreciation is nice, but the dollar index has been hovering around 90 for a while. So to me, that is a little bit worrisome. You know, if we trend back, you know, it's not as bad as it was, you know, back during the last downturn. And let's go back out 50 years. Again, certainly not the worst that we've seen, but you know, the dollar's not in real good shape right now with the amount of dollar creation that's been going on. So, all right, let's click over and see what's going on here on investing.com. Dow trickles lower. Oil's had a lot of commodities in general have really gone up in the last few months. Actually, I have a chart here that shows most of the major commodities: gold, silver, oil. Now, if you look at the week, most of them are green, other than, it looks like corn, coffee, and wheat. Year to date, you know, commodities have had a really good year already. You know, platinum, oil's up over 20% for the year. So, these are the things that really give me some concern and some worries moving forward, is just the amount of inflation that we might see, especially in things like heating oil, the things that keep us warm when it's 13 degrees outside. So, this is something that does give me some real concern. Again, you create a lot of new money, it's going to push prices up in commodities, and also commodities are I believe are going to be a safe haven moving forward. So, all right, let's take a look at how the jobless numbers that came out yesterday. Initial jobless claims were 793,000. Again, about the same as we've been the last few weeks. We've been in that 700 to 800, 900 person range as far as new claims. I don't see any dramatic changes here if you just look along the trend line. Is it great? No. I mean, again, if we look back to a year ago, unemployment was, our initial jobless claims were in the 200,000 range. Again, we're still like 4 times that. And then if you click over to continuing jobless claims, we're still in, the 4.5 million. We were in the 5 million range back a month ago. So it is still trending down, which is a positive. But like I said, it does give me some concerns as far as where the economy's going. So, let me drag over my charts of what's going on, as far as the actual indexes. The Dow Jones this week looks like it's pretty flat. I mean, we've had some up days and some down days, but again, nothing too dramatic. Same with the S&P 500. Now, the Dow 20 had a really big jump today, so I haven't read anything specifically as far as what or why that would have occurred. Let's take a look and see at the holdings inside there and see what has done really well. So Matson Inc., Avis, let's see, FedEx, Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern. So it looks like a lot of these are they're your transportation stocks. Let's see what your losers are right now. Ryder, Alaska Air. So what it looks like to me is that there must be some consensus that the moving stuff around the country is going to be a little more profitable this year, possibly. So we'll see. NASDAQ, let's see how it did this week. Again, fairly flat. It's having a pretty good day today, but we'll see. All right, let's pop out to a larger chart. Let's take a look and see how gold's doing. Let's see. It's really, since it had that nice rally last year after COVID really became a big deal, it has flattened out. It is trending slightly down, but again, not anything that I'm really worried about. If we do have any instability in our economy, which I'd say the likelihood is probably greater than 50% right now, this is going to be a nice place to hide. Same thing with silver. Silver had that nice rally last summer, and then again, it's been fairly stable the last few months. So, and then Bitcoin, everyone likes Bitcoin. So let's take a click over here and see how Bitcoin, we had a really big rally here late last year, and it has, kind of stabilized in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. I mean, it was a nice rally this week. I think a lot of that had to do with Elon Musk chiming in. So again, these commodities are, well, I don't know if you consider Bitcoin a commodity, but a medium of exchange. These things are certainly going to, in my opinion, again, these are my opinions, increase in value over time. So, but we will certainly see where that goes. All right, let me get that out of the way. All right. And, last but not least, I did want to cover some numbers that I've been doing some of my own research on the side. These are the most recent COVID numbers that came from the CDC. Looks like we have about just under 450,000 deaths over the last year plus from COVID. All deaths totaled about 3.5 million, almost 3.6 million. So it looks like across all age groups, the COVID deaths are about 12% of the total deaths nationwide. So, but I like to drill down into what do these numbers look like across certain age groups. If you're under the age of 55, there's been a total of 31,000 people who've succumbed to from COVID, and that's out of a gross, let's see, 231 million. So again, it's these numbers are pretty small. The deaths per million range from 500 per million down to 1. So these are for younger people like myself. I mean, I'm not real young, but 46. I'll be 47 on Monday. I'm personally not very concerned about it. I try to take care of myself. I exercise regularly. Get plenty of sunlight. It's something we get a lot of here in Colorado. But if you're over 55, that's where the numbers really start to get ugly. You have 1,200 per million if you're in the 50s to mid 60s. That doubles to 3,000 per million if you're over 65 to 75. It doubles again if you're over 75, and then if you're over 85, we're looking at 21,000 per million. So, granted, at those ages, you're going to have a lot of comorbidities. So, is it to be unexpected? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I just evaluate statistics and make educated decisions from that. So, but I did read an article. Where was that? Recently. Actually came out from whoever this is, National Institutes on Health. So, and this was from last April 5th, 2020. What it basically, I'm going to give you kind of the synopsis of this. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But basically shows a correlation between obesity and influenza, and I assume that they're extrapolating that to COVID since they're very similar as far as how they're spread. But what it's breaking down is really why obesity leads to worse outcomes. And this first section goes into the hormones and the internal workings of your body, and why if you're a larger person, you're going to have a tougher time with this. So, getting into the specifics of it, there's 3 factors here. First, I'll highlight this so you can maybe see it better. Obese subjects with influenza shed virus for a longer period of time, up to 104%. Then lean subjects, potentially increasing the chance of more virulent virus strains. This is mainly due to the reduced and delayed capacity to produce interferons by the obese. The delay in producing interferon, to contrast, viral replication allows more viral RNA replication. So, and then last, let's see here. Second, the obese microenvironment favors emergence of novel virus. And then third, your body mass index correlates with the amount of infectious virus that's exhaled through your breath. So it seems like males have it worse, or expel more virus. That's probably due to larger lung capacity. So this section, can the virus induce weight gain? Weight gain is caused by calories in, calories out. So if you expend more calories than you put in, you're going to lose weight. So if you go into Reddit, there's a lot of boards that make fun of the whole I gained weight even though I eat 200 calories a day, which is a lie. So this goes into incubation period and immunology. All right. So basically, the conclusions, break down that. Let's see here. Being obese not only increases the risk. Here, let me highlight that. increases the risk of infection, but it does end of complications for the single obese person, but recent evidence indicates that large obese populations increase the chance of appearance of more virulent viral strains, prolongs the virus shedding throughout the total population, and may increase overall mortality rate of an influenza pandemic. So, and then it goes into waiting for the COVID-19 vaccine. In addition, I guess what you can do: lose weight, restrict your calories. Unfortunately, it's kind of like going and buying your hurricane supplies. The day that the storm has hit your front lawn. You got to board up your windows and have your emergency rations and supplies. Well before then, if you want to be prepared. So, we've had a year. My advice would have been to start exercising more and take your vitamin D and your zinc. I know that's a popular mineral for folks. I know out there, I think Airborne has a lot of zinc in it. People take it when they travel on planes. So, anyways, so what I decided to do was, look at obesity statistics of countries, and this was my project this morning. And what I wanted to evaluate was, ranked by, the highest obesity rate to the lowest, what was the death per million? And actually, it was a little bit surprising. Kuwait has the highest obesity rate, but their death per million is only 230. USA is number 2 with a obesity rate of 36.2, but our death per million is 1,400. So scrolling through here, I highlighted or colored these rows, or not rows, rows, brown for countries along the Middle East, the Mediterranean. I might have missed a few, but looking at this, even though there's a lot of high obesity in these countries, their death per million is rather low. So I don't know if that's a correlation with the amount of sunlight they get. I don't know. I'm just, again, looking at statistics. But when you get into the countries that are mostly lighter skinned, I guess would be the best way to put it. And I don't know if my South American friends would appreciate being called light skinned, but it's not, their skin's not quite as dark as those from Africa. So, and the death per million is much, much higher, in countries where people have fairer skin. And, I did mark a line of delineation at 20%. And what you can see is that once you get below 20%, the deaths per millions really do go down quite a bit, even in countries that are, skin tones aren't quite as dark, like Thailand. I mean, they have a 10% obesity rate, they have a death per million of 1, and they have a population of almost 70 million people. So, the reason I was interested in looking at this was, where's Nigeria? I think they have right here. Nigeria's got an obesity rate of 8.9. They've got a death per million rate of 8, and they have a population of over 200 million. So about a third less than us as far as population-wise, and but they do have a much lower obesity rate, and their death rate is almost 0. Same thing with, let's see if I can find India. India's got a huge population. It's not jumping out at me right now, but I think their obesity rate is probably around 10%, if I remember. Either way, we do know that, obviously India's got a huge population, and, their death rate is down near, it's a very low number. So anyways, like I said, I wanted to, to show some correlations. For countries that had an obesity rate under 20, their deaths per million averaged 145. Those with an obesity rate over 20 have a death per million of 631. So it's about a 500 person difference per million. just based upon the health, the healthiness of the population. So, looking back here at America, our obesity rates in the 30s are over. Another 30% is overweight. So, basically 2/3 of our country has at least one comorbidity. So, I'm actually shocked. Looking at our numbers here back in the United States, that if 2/3 of our population is sick and has at least one comorbidity, I'm shocked this number isn't much higher. So with that said, I just wanted to provide some food for thought as far as what's going on out there. And I guess one last thing, I did start off talking about the impeachment that's going on right now. I try to keep things as apolitical as possible here. I realize not everyone's a libertarian like me, but I think it was Clapper or one of the other former intelligence guys who called out libertarians as insurrectionists and insurgents, and that makes me laugh. First of all, we're probably the most peaceful people on the planet. Most of us strive to live by the non-aggression principle, and kind of the golden rule: treat others as you like to be treated. Don't keep your hands off other people, and don't take their stuff. So I don't know why that is objectionable to so many people. I'd love to have a conversation with someone if they would like to bring their bullet points as far as why freedom and liberty is a bad thing. But yeah, that does really bother me. And let's see, also the riot at the Capitol. I'll give my 2 cents here at the end if you've made it this long. Yeah, it's I would caution folks to stop using the hyperbolic language as far as insurrection, a coup. I'm sorry, they were trespassing with some mild vandalism. If it was a coup or an insurrection, that building would have been burned to the ground. Every single one of those Congress folks would have been marched out in cuffs, and there would have been a trial. So yeah, and what I find humorous about it is the country was burning over the summer with BLM riots. And I probably have a screen grab of it somewhere on my Facebook page that, there's a black reporter standing in front of a burning building, and he's referring to it as a peaceful protest. So try to be consistent in your views. That's probably my best advice. We all don't get along, and we certainly don't all agree on the same things. But calling people terrorists and Nazis, it's not a positive way to do things. And I try to be as positive as possible. I know, unfortunately, part of my job, I wind up talking about a lot of the negative things going on in the world, as far as the economy, jobs, taxes, things like that. So like I said, it doesn't help things to rise the temperature up. And like I said, that's kind of my 2 cents. Be careful with the words you say, because words do matter. And certainly was not a coup. It was a little funny to watch, but people taking selfies and walking between the velvet ropes, I don't exactly think they're insurgents. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed. Let's see, I've been going for about 20 plus minutes now. If there's anything you'd like me to cover or touch on in the upcoming weeks, feel free to send me an email. No one sent me I didn't get a correct response. I'll say that's probably the better way to say it. I didn't get a correct response to my trivia question as far as what was the artist, title, and album of the rock concert I put on at the beginning of last week. So, if you do know the answer, feel free to, send me an email. Otherwise, I'll probably talk to you guys on Monday, and try to stay warm out there. It is going to be a cold one, and have a good day.